Hi everyone, welcome back to Get Ready with me, Louise. And I must say, I'm really proud of myself. It's going to be two videos this week, at least. At least. So I may not post this like the next day. I might do like every other day or something so that it's not like bam, bam, and then a huge long, week before I get around to it again. Um, I would say my schedule is getting a little more like I don't want to say set, but a little more easier for me to manage. You know what I mean? I'm not working as much, but I'm still kind of working a lot. So there's that. But I did do my makeup today for work. So I'm going to quickly go over what I am wearing. I'm going to show you this eye look. I was so craving doing this look. The eye look, I mean, um, I just forget. I think we all forget, really, what we already have in our collection and how good it is because there's just so much new stuff that comes out. So let's get started. For my sunscreen, I am wearing my Tatcha, which is right here. I've really been enjoying this one, especially like if I don't want it as glowy. If I want the glowiness, I'm going to use my Tatcha or my Natorium or I think it's called Deer Cloud, that one. But if I want like more of a natural, maybe even leaning more matte, it's going to be Tatcha for natural. And I think the Kadal, I don't know, Kadali, whatever this one is. I think this one's more matte personally, but I guess it depends on what skincare you have underneath too. And then for foundation, today I went in with the It Cosmetics, my favorite, the CC Nude Glow. I just love this stuff. Like, I really do. For concealer, oh, the NYX Bear With Me. I actually got a new shade of this not that long ago in beige, and I feel like it's much more like my skin tone than like the ones I've had previously because I had two other ones which I've passed along now to my daughters um, that were lighter, and I just didn't feel like I felt like it was too light. So I really been enjoying this one even more than I did before because I got the right color for setting the T zone and under the eyes. I went into he that shall not be named, but I have it, so I need to use it in Fair. So Jeffree Star Cosmetics. For the rest of my face, I set and actually use a little more coverage with the Natasha Denona, the High Glam foundation or powder foundation in N6. I like it because it does set the face, obviously, but it's a powder foundation, so it gives a little more coverage, especially like on my cheeks where they get red. Um, Even though the blush technically covers that, I just like to have it. So there's that. For bronzer, I pulled out my Gucci in 01. I forgot how much I really do love this bronzer. It's, I'm going to say it is leaning more like of a sunburny type of bronze because it has that pink undertone in it. But it looks natural, I think, even if you have like warm toned skin, you can still pull this off using this. But I've just forgot about how much I loved it. And then the same with this, the YSL. I'm wearing 87 because they don't have the names on. But it looks like this. And again, just I love it and I forget about it. But then for highlighter, I was going to use the Gucci highlighter too that I have. I think I have it in 01. But it wasn't my favorite. You know what I mean? I wouldn't waste your money on it. So I was looking around at my highlighter, seeing what I had, and I actually pulled out an oldie, but a goodie. So what I am wearing today is the Bobbi Brown in Golden Hour. And I remember once upon a time this being very popular. And and they're what was it? They're brick highlighters. I have that too. But I used that one today and I'm not mad at it. I think it looks really pretty. It's more of a glow from within. You could build it up if you wanted to, but I didn't want to. For lips, I lined the lips using, I know, these lip liner stay in this brand. Sashu. I think, maybe. I don't know. But pink is my favorite. It really is. I love that shade. But this one is in 02, right? Yeah, 02. And I wish I could say the name of that, but I can't. I believe pink is 01, but I kind of like this one. So I kind of line the lip and take it in also a little bit when I use it. And then I peel it off, of course, that way if it does fade, it just lasts just a little bit longer. You know what I mean? Really, though, I have had not one issue out of these, to be fair. They last all day. I mean, even when I go to take off my makeup, I kind of have to, scrub at it to get it off. But I tend to exfoliate my lips kind of every night with a sugar scrub, so it does come off. Where there was little spots, my fault, user error that I missed, I actually went into ColourPop BFF2 and just fixed it. And then for lipstick, I am wearing the Locked Kiss by MAC because we had that MAC event a while back and I bought a bunch of MAC and I need to be using it. So, and the number on it, I believe, my eyes are very poor, y'all, so, but I believe it is number 67. And it looks like this. And to be fair, for a matte lipstick, this is really comfortable. I'm just saying. And again, it's not transfer proof, but does it last? Absolutely. Hours. It lasts hours. And I top it. So actually, on top of all that, I applied the Summer Friday. I want to say something else. Sunday Fridays. There's another brand. I forget it. But this is Summer Fridays anyway. In the, I believe it's hot cocoa. It is. The hot cocoa. And I just put it in the middle of the lip just to give it some moisture. And of course, it doesn't hurt if you lick your lips because it tastes like chocolate. So, it's a win-win situation there. And then for the palette today, you all, I could not help myself. The palette and the mascara, chef's kiss. But the palette we're going to be using, and I kind of knew what palette from the brand. I wanted Pat McGrath, right? But I was like, what palette? What palette do I want to go with? And of course, we got the new palette, but I was like, no, I don't really want that. Then I was like, of course, I love, all of them. All the Mothership palettes are so close. And then I thought, maybe I should use, one of the special collections because I don't use those often at all. But then you all can't get it. So then I was like, okay, let's pick a Mothership. So I finally, as soon as I opened it, I knew that was the one. And I actually was going to go with the Natasha Denona Xenon palette. I know, I was being brave because I am wearing all black today. But I was like, not that brave. You're not that brave. Stop it. So I was like, okay, you're right. So we went with the Mothership 10 Moonlight Seduction. Again, these are still available. And this is just so pretty. Like, look at this. And I mean, the look, it's not transferring onto camera like what it is in my mirror, but oh my goodness, it's beautiful. And I understand a lot of people get mad at this palette because it is a little harder to work with, but once you figure it out, oh my goodness, it's so worth it. So let's get started. So the first thing I would suggest is natural hair brushes. That's number one. And I know that there's synthetic brushes out there that mimic natural hair, and they work fine. They do, but when it comes to this particular formula, I feel like you kind of have to go for the real, you know what I mean? So the first shade we're going to go into is this one right here. And I actually used all of the mattes in this look, to be fair. Oh no, the storms are coming. I just heard the rain hit. Why is it that on a day I'm like, let's go, full face of makeup? I get the alert. I'm going across my phone. There is a storm, a severe storm warning for your area. I was like, yes, love that for me. Probably should pay attention a little more. So right now I'm hoping that I don't look like a mess when I go to work. When the rain's just pouring down, I'm hoping. But anyway, you definitely want to kick off any excess. You want to, like, where you want that placement, you want to put it there first because that's where most of the pigment is, and then, blend it in. It blends fairly easy with the natural hair brushes, to be fair. Again, when I first bought the palettes a while back, I was like anybody else. What is this? Why? It was so hard to work with. But once you get the hang of it, then it's a whole new thing. And plus, it's an eye and face palette. Like, you could use these. Granted, they kind of are small and they don't come out. But depending on what palette you have, you could use it for blush, bronzer, highlight, like the whole 9 yards if you wanted to. Like, it's a choice up to you. But the fact that they made it like that is kind of nice. Because think about it, if you're ever traveling and you get the right palette, you could have your bronzer, your contour, your highlight, your blush all in one. Again, pans are small, they don't come out, so it could be hard to use it for those steps, but it could be done, you know what I mean? Which is kind of cool. And then once I get it blended out, I'll go into the next color, but like, I don't have any issues blending out, blending in general, really, with refer brushes. It's like they do all the work for me, to be fair, and I'm not mad at that at all. Not at all. Alright, so now we're going to go into this next matte, which is this one right here, and we're going to start to build up color. Again, putting it where I want the most of the pigment, and then blending in. I do have to get my magnifying mirror now because I just can't see anymore. And to be fair, I would wear my glasses, but I know there's people with hacks out there, but like, they don't work. It always shows the nose piece. Like, it wears into the makeup, and I don't like that, it's not like I'm spending all this time to like make myself more pretty or attractive or anything like that. I'm having fun, right? But I'm still spending a lot of time doing it, and I don't want my glasses to mess that up, And that is what happens every single time I wear my glasses and do my makeup. And I could do contacts, but I have astigmatism, so you'd have to put them in a certain way, and well, it becomes too much trouble for me because I've got 1,000 things to do, Alright, it's looking good so far. And really, I haven't been, it's not taking me too long. Alright, now we're going to go into the darkest shade in the palette, which is this, like, I don't know, gray color. And again, I'm picking up a lot, but I'll actually do it. You might want to tap it off if you are new with these shadows, just because you don't want to go too much too fast, you want to build it. That's what I feel like these shades are for. You build to the intensity you want. So start off slow and build it. And I'm just darkening the outer corner. and taking it up a little bit into the crease. I'm not going over too far with it. Because I do want it mostly concentrated on the outer corner here. And again, I love my Refer brushes. Okay. I think I got that on as deep as I want it to be. So now what we're going to do is, I've already ran the one color, so I'm going to line the lower lash line with that same gray shade, charcoal, right up on the lash line. I do like that it's a charcoal and not a black, you know what I mean? I just think it also works better with the palette. Don't get me wrong, black is nice, but it makes it less intimidating, this particular shade. And I just think it works better with all the colors too, to be fair. And then I'm going to actually line this top lash line. I found it easier to do it now before I put that, I don't want to say a special shade because it's not the special shades technically, but you'll see. Because you do have to be careful with those shades. Once you put that on, you do not want to mess with it or it'll be all down your face. However, if you do a couple of things, it will not be down your face. And again, light hand is going to be your best friend. But I'll show you what I did. And I got like 2 flecks when it came to, dropping. And it's pretty well locked in there now. So I'll be good for the rest of the day with it on my lid. Alright. So now let's blend out the lower lash line again. For eyeliner, I actually use Believe Beauty, which you can't get anymore. I know. They replaced it at my Dollar General with Elf, which I don't know if it's a bad thing or a good thing, but I mean, I did like Believe Beauty. A lot of their products are really, really good. But I put it in the waterline in the shade, just in case you happen to pick it up. It was called Queen Mauve. And I will say these eyeliners are really good. Are they all day? No. But do they last for about 5 hours? Yeah, without moving. Absolutely. So that's what the shade I've got on my upper and lower waterline. Alright, so now that we got that done, I am going to pull out Pat McGrath Intensifies Artistry wand, because I have it where I want it, right? Let's make sure. I mean, we're not going to have them even because they're not sisters by no means, my eyes. Let's be honest, I'm lucky if I get them to look like distant cousins sometimes. Most of the time it's like they're adopted, you know what I mean? Because one is more drippier than the other. One is more downturned. But we work with what we got. And I have fun doing it. So that is all that matters at the end of the day. Technically, right? In my opinion, anyway. And I get to work with this palette that I just love. I forget about it. What palettes do you have in your collection that you forget about? And then you're like, yes, that's it. You know what I mean? I know you have them. Alright, so now that I've got them the same, I'm going to take the artistry wand. And I'm just going to lay it all over the lid. Where the shade is going to go. No further up, no further down, just where I want this next shade. And it really does like hold this shade on. And you don't use much. I've had that for a long time, probably too long, but who's counting? Alright, now we're going to go into this shade right here, which is the most beautiful shade, in my opinion. And I'm going to pick it up. Now I just picked up too much, so I'm going to sort of pat it back. Because I want it on the brush pretty good. And then I'm actually going to take my head back. That way, if there's any fallout, it's not going to go all over the face. It's just going to kind of stay right there. And I'm going to pat this on quickly, but kind of accurately at the same time. And that artistry wand is going to grab this to make it very easy for me to do this. And I'm going to flip the brush over to make sure it got all the little stragglers, because they do like to hang on, so that when you pull the brush away, it's all down your face or in your lashes. Now, you could use your fingers. You could even spray the brush, but I prefer to do it this way. I technically would use my fingers, but I have these fingernails on, and, well, we all know that's not going to happen with these fingernails. I'm going to poke myself in the eyeball. And we pat, pat, pat. Now I do use my finger as close as I can to get the warmth of it, to try to set this down even more. Can you all see this shade? Like, I really hope. It is the most beautiful shade I've ever seen. My collection. Alright, again, I got 2 stragglers. Now, I'm going to brush my lashes also, because I do not trust them. And then we're going to wipe those stragglers away. Alright, well, kind of got a bunch of stragglers here. I don't know. Alright, let's set it down with the finger. And again, the artistry wand really does do most of the work for you. Because as you can see, very little came off of my finger. So I kind of use that as like, okay, it's working. Because if it wasn't locked down, you know, those pieces would have came off on my finger. Man, that's such a pretty look though. Chef's kiss. Okay, now we're going to take the shade right here, and we're going to put that in the inner corner. And I'm going to pick it up, but I'm going to like smash it against this palette to make sure that it's really in this brush, because this is very, very like sparkly, so it will go everywhere. And I should actually wet this time, but again, I'm just gonna put my head back and balancing this palette on my legs. It's gonna go down, and we're gonna pat it where I want it again, because this is more like a glitter. The other shade was more flaky, I guess is the best word to put it, where this is more glittery. And I'm just going to take it up a little bit. But it is a pretty little flaky. It looks like stardust almost. But it's gorgeous. And it's got like a purpley, silvery look to it. It's just beautiful. All right. This is everything I wanted it to be today. I'm so glad too, because you never know with a makeup look. In your head, you've got the vision, and sometimes it executes well, and sometimes it does not. But today, we are doing pretty good. So now I'm going to use my Surratt eyelash curler. Yes, I am going all out for this look. And we are going to curl these lashes. And then, of course, for mascara, as I said, I was excited, so you know it's one of my favorites. We're going to be using the YSL for the top lashes. I can hear car doors closing and opening, but yet there's nobody here. Can you all hear it? It's loud. I don't know if it picks up or not. So we're going to use the YSL Lash Clash on the top. And again, there's just something special about this mascara. I love it. Have you all tried it yet? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Let me know. I always like to hear when, well, like if somebody loves it based on something I've recommended. Like, I love that, you know. But if I didn't recommend it and they didn't love it, like they purchased it on their own accord, but they didn't like it, then I'm like, oh, really? Then I'm interested in the why. But if it's my fault, I don't want to know. I'm so sorry. That's the way I am. I'm just like, I'm so sorry you don't like it. I love it. But I know we're all different, so, you know, it is what it is there. But I love to know why people don't like the things I like, especially like when it's just like preference. Because it makes me think of my own preferences, and I'm like, are they onto something? Do I need to try something else? No, I don't, but I do. I need to stop buying what I need to do and use what I got. But this mascara is just everything, I think. I'm just trying to get all these little lashes. Alright. And I know better not to keep messing with it, because I'll have myself a mess. And I know this wholeheartedly. So I kind of just been doing like one application of it and stopping. And that goes with any of the mascaras, because if I keep going and going, like sometimes I might get away with two, but any more than that, I've got a mess on my hands. And I'm like, why did I even do that? It was fine where it was. All right. For the lower lashes, I'm going to use my new MAC extended play Giga Black Lash. Again, got this, and that I got it when I went to that MAC event. I purchased it. I was so glad to have a new one back in my life. And it's not as wet as it once was when I first opened it, so I love that for me. It's dried out some. And now it's just back to being perfect and gorgeous and all the things. I love this mascara so much. It's just so pretty. Alright. And then this is the final look using all my products. And none of it was new. I mean, kinda, a little bit, but not really. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I guess the MAC mascara is kind of new, but I mean, technically, that's been out for as long as I can remember. So, but look at this shadow. Like, I just hope you all are seeing. Like, to me, that shadow alone, this eye look alone, because this isn't the first time I've created this eye look, is everything. It's just so beautiful. There's not one thing I don't like about it. You know what I mean? There's not one thing I don't like about this palette. And I could use, like, I forget. I do. It's like, I know I have all the motherships. Let's be using them. Let's get our money out of them. And then I'm like, But I feel like with her palettes, again, because they're not the easiest to work with. And if you ain't got the time, it could be a downhill spiral real quick. So, like, I like using it when I want to play and I have the time. Where if I don't have the time and I gotta be like snap, I really tend to go for a Natasha Denona's brand because I just feel like it's effortless. And it creates just as pretty looks. Different, but just as pretty. But yeah, that's all I have for you today. I'm so glad I got to sit down and film again. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you've been up to, what you're doing. I think the next time you see me, I won't have these claws on though. I will say they are fun. They are very pretty. But they're something to get used to for sure. You would have thought I would have started out with baby nails, being this is the first time I've actually used nails. They are the OPI in Sagittarius, which I'm a Sagittarius, so I thought, perfect. I think I just need to go shorter. I think I like these kind of nails, but I think I just need to go shorter. I know I could go longer, but I'm pretty sure I'd have no eyes. And I'd be in trouble in other areas of my life. So, with that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it entertaining in some way. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell, hit all. That way you're notified when I do upload. I'm trying. So I'm going to say I'm trying. So even though I usually like film and then post the next day, I think I'm filming today, so I'll post in a couple days because you just got a video of the new SpongeBob collection. I kind of like that collection, I'm not gonna lie. But do you need it? Probably not. But if you like SpongeBob, you like Wet and Wild, I don't think you'll be disappointed. And I'm more into the, what would you call it? The accessory part of it, to be fair. So that is all I have. I keep saying that, but I will see you in the next one. Until then, take care, stay healthy, and stay safe. Bye.